Maya Chen opened her eyes slowly. Everything hurt. Her head pounded like someone was hitting it with a hammer. She tried to remember what happened, but her thoughts were fuzzy and unclear. She was lying on something soft. The air smelled strange, like metal, and something sweet she could not name. Slowly, her eyes focused on the ceiling above her. It was not a human ceiling. The metal was a strange purple color, and lights blinked in patterns she did not understand. Maya sat up too fast. Pain shot through her ribs. She gasped and held her side. Then she remembered. The rescue shuttle, the emergency call from the cargo ship, the collision. "Oh no," she whispered. The room was small. Medical equipment surrounded her bed. But it was alien equipment. Everything looked wrong to human eyes. The bed was too wide and too short. The monitors showed symbols she had never seen before. Maya stood up carefully. Her legs shook but held her weight. She wore a medical gown that was clearly not made for humans. It hung oddly on her frame. The door opened with a soft hiss. Maya jumped back, her heart racing. A figure lay on a medical bed that floated into the room. It was an alien. She had seen this species before in the station databases. Velthrian. They looked like large cats that walked on two legs. This one had silver fur with black stripes. Her eyes were closed and machines were attached to her body. Behind the floating bed, something small moved. Maya looked down and saw a child, a Velthrian cub. The little one had the same silver fur but with lighter stripes. Big golden eyes stared up at Maya with fear and curiosity. "Hello," Maya said softly. She tried to smile in a friendly way. The cub made a small noise. It sounded like a scared kitten. The child moved closer to the floating bed where the adult Velthrian lay. Maya looked at the adult more carefully. The alien's chest moved up and down slowly. She was alive but clearly hurt badly. Tubes and wires connected her to several machines. Maya recognized some of the medical equipment even though it was alien technology. A voice suddenly spoke. It came from everywhere and nowhere. The words were strange at first, then Maya's translator implant kicked in. The voice was mechanical and broken. "Human, alive, good. Captain Thelvan, injured, critical. You... engineer?" "Yes," Maya said quickly. "I'm an engineer. I was coming to help with your reactor problem, but we crashed. What happened?" "Where is my crew?" The mechanical voice was silent for a long moment. Too long. "Your crew... dead. Captain's crew. Dead. Only Captain. Only Kirsch. Only you." Maya felt her stomach drop. Her crew. Dead. All of them. Jenkins, who told terrible jokes. Rodriguez, who had 3 kids back home. Davis, who was training to be a captain. All gone. She wanted to cry, but there was no time. If only 3 of them were alive on this ship, they were in serious trouble. "What's wrong with the ship?" Maya asked. Her voice shook, but she forced herself to focus. "Reactor failing, collision damage, 72 hours, then containment fails, then death. 72 hours. 3 days. Maya looked at the wounded captain and the small cub. 3 days to fix an alien reactor she had never seen before, in a ship she did not know, with no crew to help. "Can you show me the reactor room?" Maya asked. "Yes. Follow lights." Small blue lights appeared on the floor, making a path. Maya started to follow them, then stopped. The cub was following her. The little one walked right behind Maya, almost touching her legs. "It's okay," Maya said to the cub. "You can stay with your... mother?" "Aunt," the broken voice said. "Kirsch has no parents, lost in accident, 6 months ago. Captain is aunt, only family." Maya's heart broke a little more. This poor child had already lost so much. Now her aunt was hurt badly, and strangers surrounded her. "Okay, Krush," Maya said gently. "You can come with me." The reactor room was huge. It filled the center of the ship. The reactor itself hummed and glowed inside a clear chamber. But the glow was wrong. Maya had studied many types of reactors. This one should glow steady blue. Instead, it flickered between blue and angry red. Around the reactor were control panels. Maya walked to the closest one and stared at the display. Her heart sank even more. The controls were in Velthrian technical script. She could read basic Velthrian words, but this was different. These were three-dimensional symbols that floated in the air above the panel. They moved and changed colors. Some were connected by lines that made shapes in space. Maya reached out to touch one symbol. It moved away from her hand. She tried again. The same thing happened. "No, no, no," she said. This was worse than she thought. The Velthrian controls did not just use different words. They used completely different ways of thinking about space and movement. She felt something touch her leg. Maya looked down. Krish stood next to her, looking up with those big golden eyes. The cub made a sad sound. "I know," Maya said. "I'm scared too." Maya spent the next hour trying to understand the controls. She made notes on her datapad. She drew diagrams, but nothing made sense. The Velthrian way of showing information was too different from human methods. Krish never left her side. When Maya moved to a different panel, Krish followed. When Maya sat down to think, Krish sat next to her. The little one was silent but always close. Maya went back to check on Captain Thelvan. The Velthrian captain was still unconscious. Her breathing was steady but weak. "Captain," Maya said, even though she knew the alien probably could not hear. "I don't know if I can do this. Your reactor system is nothing like what humans use. I can barely read it. I have 3 days to learn an entirely new way of thinking about engineering, or we all die." She sat down on the floor, exhausted. Her body ached from the crash. Her mind hurt from trying to understand the impossible controls. Krish climbed into Maya's lap. The cub was surprisingly light. Soft fur pressed against Maya's chest, small arms wrapped around her neck. Krish made a sound, a deep rumbling that Maya realized was purring. The little one was trying to comfort her. This child, who had lost everything, was trying to make Maya feel better. Maya put her arms gently around Krish. She felt tears on her face but did not wipe them away. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay, I'll find a way. I have to." The reactor flickered red again in the distance. The clock was ticking. 72 hours to save 3 lives. 72 hours to do the impossible. Maya held the cub close and started planning. She would need to completely rebuild the interface. She would need to create something no one had ever made before. A bridge between human and Velthrian thinking, and somehow she would need to do it while caring for a traumatized child who refused to leave her side. The adventure was just beginning. Maya had been working for 18 hours straight. Her eyes burned, her hands shook from exhaustion, and Krish was still on her shoulders. The cub had climbed up there 6 hours ago. Maya had tried to set her down gently, explaining that she needed to work. But the moment Krish's feet touched the floor, the little one had panicked. She made terrible crying sounds that broke Maya's heart. So Krish stayed on her shoulders, small hands gripping Maya's shirt, face pressed against her neck. The reactor display floated in front of Maya. She had spent hours just trying to understand how Velthrians saw information. It was like learning to see in a completely new way. Humans thought in straight lines. A goes to B goes to C. Simple, clear, one direction at a time. Velthrians thought in spheres, everything connected to everything else in 3 dimensions. And they used colors to show relationships. Red lines meant power flow, blue meant cooling, green meant safety systems. But the colors also changed shade to show intensity, and they pulsed to show timing. Maya's human brain hurt trying to follow it all at once. "Okay," she said out loud. Krish's tail twitched near her ear. "I can't think like a Velthrian, so I need to make the reactor speak human." She pulled up her portable programming interface. It was a small device humans use to connect to any computer system, usually, if the computer system made sense. Maya started coding. She wrote a translation program that would take the Velthrian three-dimensional color display and convert it into simple human readouts: temperature, pressure, power levels, things she could understand with human eyes and a human brain. 4 hours later, her program was ready. She connected it to the reactor controls. The Velthrian display flickered, and a new window appeared. Human words and numbers. Maya smiled. Yes. Okay, let's see what's actually wrong with you. The numbers made her smile disappear. The reactor core temperature was rising. The containment field was weakening. Plasma conduits were cracked. The cooling system was failing, and she had 54 hours left. We're in trouble, Kirsch, Maya said quietly. The cub made a small questioning sound. Big trouble, Maya added. She needed to fix the cooling system first. If the core got too hot, nothing else would matter. Maya pulled up the maintenance records, but they were all in Velthrian. The ship's computer tried to translate, but the words came out wrong. Fluid dynamics? No, wait. Thermal something. Ugh. Maya rubbed her eyes. This would be so much easier if I could ask the captain. Captain Thelvan was still unconscious. Maya had checked on her 4 times. The medical machine said she was stable, but her body needed time to heal. The captain might wake up in days. Maya did not have days. Kirsch shifted on Maya's shoulders. Her small weight was starting to make Maya's neck and back hurt. But every time Maya tried to set the cub down, even for a minute, Kirsch's claws dug into her shirt and the crying started. Maya sighed. Okay, little one, you can stay. But you need to hold on tight. I have to go into the maintenance tubes. The maintenance tubes were narrow spaces behind the reactor walls. They were made for Velthrian bodies, which were smaller and more flexible than humans. Maya had to crawl on her stomach, pulling herself forward with her elbows. Krush clung to her back, silent and scared. The tube was hot. Sweat dripped into Maya's eyes. Her shoulders scraped the walls. Behind her, pipes hissed and groaned. She could feel the heat from the reactor through the walls. Maya found the cooling system junction. It was a mess. Twisted metal, broken pipes. Leaked coolant had crystallized into blue ice. This is bad, Maya said. She pulled out her tools and started working. It was nearly impossible. The space was too tight. Her hands could barely move. And Krush was on her back, making every movement harder. Several times, Maya almost touched hot pipes. Once, she nearly dropped a tool into the reactor's plasma field, which would have been very bad. Krush, Maya said, trying to stay patient. Sweetie, I need you to get down for just a few minutes. The cub's grip tightened. A scared sound came from her throat. I know you're scared. But I might hurt us both if you stay up there. Please. Krush did not move. If anything, she held on harder. Maya closed her eyes and counted to 10. She thought about her own childhood. When she was young and scared. What had helped? Her mother had always stayed close, always kept touching her. Physical contact meant safety. Okay, Maya said softly. New plan. You stay there, but we need to work together. When I say left, you lean a little left. When I say right, you lean right. That way I can balance better. Deal? Kirsch made a small chirping sound. Maya chose to believe it meant yes. They worked together for 3 more hours. Maya would say left and Kirsch would shift her weight. Right, and Kirsch would lean the other way. Still, and Kirsch would freeze completely. It was slow. It was awkward, but it worked. Maya replaced 4 broken coolant pipes. She patched 6 cracks. She rerouted the coolant flow around a completely destroyed section. Her hands were cut and burned. Her back screamed in pain. Kirsch's claws had poked holes in her shirt and scratched her skin. But when Maya crawled out of the maintenance tube, the reactor temperature was dropping. The cooling system was working again. Maya collapsed on the floor of the reactor room. She was too tired to move. Crush climbed off her back and curled up on Maya's chest. The cub's purring vibrated through Maya's ribs. "We did it," Maya whispered. "Round 1 complete." She lay there for 20 minutes, just breathing. Then the ship's computer spoke. "Warning. Reactor core microfracture detected. Containment field unstable. Time to failure, 36 hours. Maya wanted to cry. She had just fixed one problem, and now there was another, a worse one. A microfracture in the core meant the reactor had a crack. When they tried to restart it properly, the pressure might make the crack bigger. If it broke all the way, the reactor would explode. She could not fix a crack in the core. That required a shipyard, special tools, trained technicians, not one exhausted human engineer with a traumatized alien child on her shoulders. Maya sat up slowly. Kirsch climbed back onto her shoulders without being asked. It was like the cub knew. Wherever Maya went, Kirsch would be there too. "Computer," Maya said, "show me the microfracture location." The display changed. Deep inside the reactor core, a red line appeared. It was small. Tiny, really. But in a reactor core, tiny cracks meant huge problems. Maya stared at the display for a long time. Her engineer's mind worked through the problem. What if she did not fix the crack? What if she worked around it? Could she reroute the plasma flow to avoid putting pressure on that spot? It would be incredibly dangerous. She would need to adjust the reactor's plasma flow while it was still running. One wrong move and the containment field would collapse. They would all die in seconds. But if she did nothing, they would die anyway. Maya felt Kirsch's small hand touch her cheek. The cub was looking at her with those big golden eyes. There was trust in that look. Complete trust. "I'm going to try something very stupid," Maya told the cub. "If your aunt were awake, she would probably tell me not to do it, but we don't have a choice." She went back to her programming interface. She needed to modify her translator program. She needed to understand the reactor's plasma flow in real time. She needed to see it the way Velthrians saw it, but also the way humans understood it. She needed to build a bridge between two completely different ways of thinking, and she needed to do it in 36 hours. Maya started typing. Kirsch settled more comfortably on her shoulders. The cub's tail wrapped loosely around Maya's arm. It was warm and soft and somehow comforting. "Okay," Maya said. "Let's teach a human brain to think like a Velthrian. How hard can it be?" The reactor hummed ominously in the background. The clock kept ticking, and Maya worked through the night, a small alien child sleeping on her shoulders, trusting her to save them all. Maya had not slept in 42 hours. She knew this was dangerous. Tired engineers made mistakes. Mistakes in reactor engineering meant death. But there was no time for sleep. Kirsch had finally fallen into a deep sleep on Maya's back. The cub's breathing was slow and even. Her small body was warm against Maya's spine. Maya had made a carrier from spare fabric and straps. It held Kirsch securely while leaving Maya's hands free. The little one seemed to like it. She had stopped crying every time Maya moved. The display in front of Maya showed both human and Velthrian information now. It had taken 20 hours of constant programming, but she had done it. The top half showed normal human readouts with numbers and graphs. The bottom half showed the Velthrian three-dimensional color patterns. At first, looking at both at the same time made Maya dizzy. Her brain tried to process the information in two different ways. It was like trying to read English and Chinese simultaneously while doing math. Impossible. But slowly, after hours of staring at the patterns, something clicked. Maya started to see the connections. The way the Velthrian colors pulsed matched the rhythm of the plasma flow. The way the three-dimensional shapes rotated showed which systems were connected. It was not just pretty pictures. It was a completely different language of engineering, and Maya was learning to speak it. "Okay," she said softly, careful not to wake Krush. I can see the plasma flow. I can see the pressure points. Now I need to figure out how to redirect it away from the fracture. She pulled up a simulation. In the human section, she drew a new path for the plasma. The computer calculated if it would work. Red numbers appeared. Failure rate, 78%. No good, Maya muttered. She tried again. Different path, different pressure balance. Failure rate, 62%. Better, but still too high. Maya tried 15 more variations. Each one failed. She was missing something, some key piece of information that would make this possible. Behind her, the door hissed open. Maya spun around quickly. Captain Thelvan's floating medical bed drifted into the reactor room. The captain's eyes were open. They were bright green and very large. "Captain," Maya said, "you're awake!" The Velthrian captain tried to speak, but coughed instead. The ship's computer translated her weak words. "The human, still alive. Good." Captain Thelvan's eyes moved to the carrier on Maya's back. "Krush, safe?" "Yes," Maya said quickly. "She's sleeping. She won't leave my side, but she's okay." The captain made a sound that might have been a laugh or a cough. "Shows good judgment. You saved us." "Not yet," Maya said. "The reactor has a microfracture. I'm trying to reroute the plasma flow to avoid it, but every simulation fails. I don't know what I'm missing." Captain Thelvan's eyes focused on the display. Even weak and injured, her gaze was sharp. She studied the patterns for a long moment. "You made this interface?" she asked. "Yes, I needed to understand your system." "Impossible," the captain said. "Humans cannot process three-dimensional chromatography. Your brain's too linear." "I didn't process it," Maya explained. "I built a bridge. I show both types of information together. My brain learns to see the connections." The captain stared at Maya like she was seeing something unbelievable. "No one has ever... In 300 years of contact between our species, no one has built such a bridge." Maya felt embarrassed. "I didn't know it was impossible. I just needed to fix your reactor." Captain Thelvan made that sound again. Definitely a laugh this time. "Very human. Do impossible things because you do not know they are impossible." She looked at the simulation. "Your plasma paths are wrong. You think in lines. Plasma thinks in spirals." "Spirals?" "Yes. Show me." "Variable Theta 7. Maya found the variable in the Velthrian system. When she highlighted it, the three-dimensional pattern changed. The plasma flow stopped looking like rivers and started looking like DNA helixes. Spiraling, rotating, dancing. "Oh," Maya breathed. "Oh, I see it." She redesigned her plasma path. Instead of straight lines, she created spirals. The plasma would corkscrew around the fracture point instead of pushing against it. The computer calculated. 38% failure rate. Much better, but still not good enough. "The pressure variance," Captain Thelvan said. Her voice was getting weaker. "Must pulse, like heartbeat, not constant." Maya adjusted the design again. She made the plasma flow pulse rhythmically instead of flowing steadily. The computer calculated. 19% failure rate. "Better," the captain said. "But the timing..." "What about the timing?" Maya asked quickly. The captain's eyes were closing. "Must match harmonic frequency of containment field." The captain's words trailed off. She was unconscious again. "Captain! Captain!" But the Velthrian was asleep once more. The medical machine said she was stable. She had just exhausted herself helping Maya. Maya turned back to the display. Harmonic frequency of the containment field. What did that mean? She spent 2 hours searching through the ship's databases. The translation was terrible. Finally, she found a technical manual that explained it. Every containment field vibrated at a specific frequency. If the plasma flow matched that frequency, it would naturally align with the field instead of pushing against it. Maya found the containment field frequency. She adjusted her design to pulse at the same rhythm. The computer calculated. 4% failure rate. "Yes!" Maya shouted. Then she froze. On her back, Kirsch stirred. "Sorry, little one. Go back to sleep." But Kirsch was awake now. The cub climbed around to Maya's front, settling against her chest. Big golden eyes looked up at the display. Maya showed Kirsch the design. "See this? This is going to save us. The plasma will flow in spirals, pulsing like a heartbeat, matching the containment field. It's beautiful, really. Your aunt helped me see it." Kirsch reached up and touched the floating display. Her small paw went right through the hologram. She made a curious sound. "Pretty, isn't it?" Maya said. "Your people see information in such an interesting way. I wish more humans understood it." Maya looked at the clock. 36 hours had become 18 hours. Time was running out. "Okay," she said. "Now comes the hard part. I have to actually do this, and I have to do it while the reactor is running. One mistake and boom, we're all gone." Kirsch's ears flattened against her head. She made a worried sound. "I know," Maya said. She held the cub close for a moment. "I'm scared too. But your aunt is counting on us. You're counting on me. And honestly, I'm counting on you too." Kirsch tilted her head, confused. "You keep me calm," Maya explained. "When you purr, my hands stop shaking. When you hold on to me, I feel braver. So we're a team, okay? We do this together." The cub seemed to understand. She climbed back into the carrier on Maya's back and settled in. Her small arms wrapped around Maya's neck. Her purring started, a deep rumble that vibrated through Maya's whole body. Maya took a deep breath. She pulled up the reactor controls. Real controls now, not simulations. She would be manually adjusting plasma flow inside an active reactor. This was insanely dangerous. Every safety protocol said never to do this. But safety protocols assumed you had other options. Maya did not have other options. She put her hands on the controls. The Velthrian interface responded to her touch. She could feel it now, the way the three-dimensional patterns moved. It was like conducting music. Everything had rhythm and harmony. "Okay, Kirsch," Maya said quietly. "Hold on tight. Here we go." She began the most dangerous repair of her life. The reactor hummed around her. Plasma flowed through invisible magnetic fields. One wrong move would kill them all. But Maya did not make a wrong move. Her hands danced across the controls. Human precision met Velthrian spatial thinking. The hybrid interface showed her exactly what she needed to see. The plasma began to spiral. It pulsed like a heartbeat. It matched the containment field's harmonic frequency. And the pressure on the microfracture began to decrease. Maya worked for 2 hours straight. Kirsch never moved, never made a sound except for that constant, calming purr. The cub's presence steadied Maya's hands and cleared her mind. Finally, Maya made the last adjustment. She held her breath and checked the readings. The microfracture was still there, but the plasma flow no longer pushed against it. The pressure was distributed around it in perfect spirals. The reactor was stable. "We did it," Maya whispered. "Kirsch, we actually did it." But there was no time to celebrate. Maya still needed to complete the full restart sequence, and for that, she would need to be faster than human reflexes should allow. The real test was still ahead. 12 hours remained. Maya stood in front of the reactor chamber wearing a radiation suit. The suit was made for Velthrians, so it fit strangely on her human body. The arms were too short, the legs were too wide, but it would protect her from the reactor's radiation. Mostly. Kirsch was not in the carrier anymore. The cub could not go into the reactor chamber. Too dangerous. Maya had tried to leave her with the sleeping captain, but Kirsch had panicked, crying, clawing, completely terrified. So Maya had made a compromise. She carried Kirsch on her back into the airlock. There was a thick window there. Krish could see Maya through the window. Maya could see Krish. They would not be touching, but they would not be separated. Maya knelt down so Krish could climb off her back. The cub's claws dug into Maya's suit. She did not want to let go. "I'll be right there," Maya said, pointing at the window. "You can watch me the whole time. I promise I won't leave." Krish made a sad, scared sound. "I know, but you have to stay here. The radiation would hurt you. I have this suit to protect me." "You don't." Slowly, reluctantly, Krish released her grip. She sat down on the airlock floor, staring at Maya with huge, terrified eyes. Maya touched the window from her side. Krish pressed her small paw against the glass from the other side. "I'll be fast," Maya promised. "Stay right there." She turned and entered the reactor chamber. The door sealed behind her with a heavy clang. Through the window, she could see Krish. The cub had not moved. Inside the chamber, the reactor core hummed with barely contained power. It was beautiful and terrifying. Blue light pulsed through the transparent containment field. Maya could feel the energy in the air, making her skin tingle even through the suit. She pulled up her modified display on a portable screen. It showed her exactly what she needed to do. The plasma conduits were damaged in 3 places. She needed to manually seal them while the reactor was live. Normal procedure said to shut down the reactor first. But if Maya shut it down now, the restart sequence would put fatal pressure on the microfracture. The reactor would explode. So she had to do this the impossible way. Fix a live reactor. Work inside an active plasma field. Trust her modifications to keep her safe. Maya approached the first conduit. It was a thick pipe that glowed with inner fire. A crack ran along its side. Plasma leaked out in tiny bright streams. She pulled out a repair tool. It looked like a welding torch, but it worked with magnetic fields instead of heat. She had studied the Velthrian manual 3 times to understand how to use it. Maya activated the tool. Blue light sparked from its tip. She carefully applied it to the crack. The magnetic fields grabbed the metal and pulled it back together. The crack sealed. The plasma leak stopped. "One down," Maya said. Her voice sounded loud inside the helmet. She glanced back at the window. Krish was still there, paw pressed against the glass, watching. The second conduit was harder to reach. Maya had to climb up a maintenance ladder. The radiation suit made her clumsy. Twice she almost dropped her tool. The reactor hummed louder like it was annoyed with her. This crack was bigger. More plasma leaked out. Maya worked carefully, sealing inch by inch. Sweat dripped into her eyes inside the helmet. She could not wipe it away. The repair took 20 minutes. It felt like 20 hours. But finally, the crack was sealed. 2 down. 1 to go. Maya climbed down and moved to the third conduit. This one was the worst. The crack was on the back side, in a tight space between 2 plasma chambers. Maya had to squeeze herself in, pressing her body against equipment that hummed with dangerous energy. She reached the crack and started working. The repair tool sparked. The magnetic field grabbed the metal. Everything was going according to plan. Then something went wrong. A warning alarm screamed. Maya's display flashed red. One of the plasma chambers next to her was overloading. Too much pressure. The automatic safety systems were trying to activate, but they were damaged. Maya had seconds to make a decision. If the chamber exploded, she would die. If she left the crack unsealed and ran, the reactor would fail anyway, and everyone would die. If she tried to fix both problems at once, she might fail at both. She looked back at the window. Krish was standing now, paws against the glass, mouth open in a silent cry. Maya made her choice. She finished sealing the crack as fast as she could. Her hands moved without thinking, pure instinct and training. The crack sealed. Then she dove for the overloading chamber's manual override panel. She had to input a command sequence to reroute the excess plasma. The sequence was complex, 12 separate commands in perfect order. She had studied it from the manual, but doing it under pressure was different. Maya's hands flew across the controls. First command, second, third. The chamber pressure kept rising. Fourth command, fifth. The alarm got louder. Sixth, seventh, eighth. Her hand slipped. She hit the wrong control. Error. The sequence reset. "No!" Maya shouted. She had to start over, but there was no time. The chamber would explode in seconds. Then Maya heard something impossible. Through the thick walls, through her helmet, through everything, she heard purring. Krush's purr. Deep and rhythmic and calming. And in that purr, Maya heard rhythm. The same rhythm as the Velthrian command sequences, the same pulse as the containment field harmonics, the same beat as the plasma flow spirals. Everything was connected. Everything had the same fundamental rhythm. Maya closed her eyes. She stopped thinking in human terms. She felt the rhythm. She let her hands move with it. Command 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The sequence completed. The chamber pressure dropped. The alarm stopped. The plasma rerouted safely. Maya collapsed against the wall, breathing hard. That was too close. Way too close. She looked at the window. Krush was still purring. Maya could see it in the way the cub's whole body vibrated. The little one had helped her. Somehow, she had helped. "Thank you," Maya whispered. She checked her display. All 3 conduits were sealed. The plasma flow was stable. The reactor was still operating, but now it was safe to begin the full restart sequence. Maya left the reactor chamber and returned to the airlock. The door opened. Krush launched herself at Maya, climbing up the radiation suit, wrapping small arms around Maya's helmeted head. Okay, I'm fine," Maya said. She was laughing and almost crying at the same time. "We're okay." She carefully removed the radiation suit, while Krush clung to her. Then the cub settled back into the carrier on Maya's back, purring loudly. Maya walked to the main reactor control panel. This was it. The final step. She had to input the restart sequence. It was incredibly complex. 53 separate commands that had to be entered in exactly 3 minutes. Too slow and the reactor would lock down permanently. Too fast and the plasma flow would become unstable. Maya had practiced the sequence 20 times on the simulator. But the simulator was not the real thing. Real reactor cores did not forgive mistakes. She put her hands on the controls. The hybrid interface glowed in front of her. Human readouts and Velthrian patterns working together. "Okay, Krush," Maya said. "This is it. Last chance to back out." The cub made a determined sound and tightened her grip. "Right. Together then." Maya started the sequence. Her hands moved across the controls. Human speed met Velthrian precision. 1 command, 2, 3. She had to go faster. 10 commands, 20. Her hands were starting to hurt. 30 commands, 40. She could feel the rhythm now, the same rhythm Krush had shown her with her purr. Then Maya felt something strange, a tapping on her shoulder. Gentle, rhythmic. Krush was tapping her shoulder in the exact rhythm of the command sequence. The cub was helping her keep time, keeping her on pace. 1 tap for each command. Perfect timing. Maya stopped thinking. She just followed the rhythm. Her hands and Krush's taps working together. 45 commands. 48, 50, 51, 52, 53. The sequence completed with 2 seconds to spare. The reactor roared to life. Full power. Stable containment. All systems green. The lights brightened throughout the ship. Life support normalized. The hum of the engines changed from a sick wheeze to a healthy purr. Maya and Krush had saved the ship. Maya collapsed into a chair. Every muscle in her body hurt. Her hands shook. Her eyes could barely stay open. Kirsch climbed around to her front and curled up in Maya's lap. The cub's purring was like a lullaby. "We did it," Maya whispered. "We actually did it." From the medical bay, Captain Thelvan's voice came through the speakers. She sounded stronger now that life support was working properly. "Incredible! You did the impossible, engineer. Rest now. Rescue ships will arrive soon." Maya barely heard her. She was already falling asleep. Her arms wrapped gently around the small alien child who had saved her just as much as she had saved the child. Together they had done the impossible. Maya woke up to the sound of docking clamps. Heavy metallic thuds echoed through the cargo ship. Rescue had arrived. She was still in the chair in the reactor room. Kirsch was still curled in her lap, sleeping peacefully. Maya had no idea how long they had been asleep. Hours, probably. Her body felt stiff and sore, but better. The crushing exhaustion was gone. The ship's computer spoke. "Rescue vessels docked, human and Velthrian crews boarding, medical teams en route to your location." "Hear that, Kirsch?" Maya said softly. "We're saved." The cub opened one golden eye, then closed it again. She was not ready to wake up yet. Maya heard footsteps in the corridor. Multiple sets. Running. Then the door to the reactor room burst open. A human woman in a rescue uniform stopped short when she saw Maya. Behind her were 3 Velthrian crew members. "Maya Chen?" the woman asked. "Engineer Chen from the rescue shuttle?" "That's me," Maya said. "Thank God. We picked up the distress beacon and—" The woman stopped, staring at the reactor. "Wait, the reactor is running. Full power. How?" "I fixed it," Maya said simply. One of the Velthrian crew members stepped forward. He was older, with gray fur and kind eyes. He looked at the reactor displays, then at Maya, then at the displays again. His ears twitched in what Maya had learned was surprise. "This is impossible," he said. The translator made his voice sound shocked. "This reactor was days from containment failure. The damage was catastrophic. And you made a hybrid interface?" "I needed to understand the systems," Maya explained. She was too tired to be modest. "I couldn't think like a Velthrian, so I built a bridge. Human and Velthrian information together." The Velthrian engineer moved closer to study the displays. His eyes got wider and wider. This is revolutionary. No one has ever successfully integrated our technical cognition systems with human linear processing. Scientists have tried for decades, and you just built it? By yourself? While fixing a critical reactor?" "I had help," Maya said. She gently stroked Kirsch's back. The cub purred in her sleep. The rescue team spent an hour checking the ship. Medical personnel examined Captain Thelvan and declared that she would make a full recovery. Engineers examined Maya's work on the reactor and declared it brilliant, impossible, and absolutely insane in equal measure. A human officer pulled Maya aside. "We need to debrief you. Document everything you did. This hybrid interface you created could change everything about how multi-species crews work together." "Okay," Maya said. "But first, can someone check on Kirsch? She's been through a lot." A Velthrian doctor examined the cub gently. Kirsch did not let go of Maya during the examination, but she allowed the doctor to scan her. "Physically, she is healthy," the doctor said. "Emotionally, she has bonded with you very strongly. This is not uncommon after trauma. She sees you as her protector." "What happens to her now?" Maya asked. She was surprised by how much the answer mattered to her. "Captain Thelvan is her legal guardian. When the captain recovers, they will return home together." Maya felt a strange sadness. She had only known Kirsch for a few days, but the little cub had become important to her. The idea of never seeing her again hurt. 8 hours later, after debriefs and medical checks and endless questions, Maya was allowed to visit Captain Thelvan. The Velthrian captain was sitting up in her medical bed, looking much better. Kirsch sat beside her, but the cub's eyes kept finding Maya across the room. "Engineer Chen," Captain Thelvan said, "please sit." Maya sat in a chair next to the bed. "You saved us," the captain continued. "Saved my ship, saved my niece, saved me. There are no words adequate to thank you." "I just did what any engineer would do," Maya said. "No." Captain Thelvan's voice was firm. "What you did was unprecedented. The Velthrian Engineering Council has already contacted me. They want to study your hybrid interface. They believe it could revolutionize how our species work together." "It's just a translator program," Maya said, uncomfortable with the attention. "It is more than that. It is a bridge between minds, between ways of thinking." The captain paused. "I have a question for you. What will you do now?" Maya had not thought about it. Her crew was gone. Her shuttle was destroyed. She had no ship, no assignment. "I don't know," she admitted. "The Interspecies Engineering Corps has contacted me," Captain Thelvan said. "They want to offer you a position, teaching both humans and Velthrians how to work with your hybrid systems, training new engineers in both species' methods." Maya's eyes widened. "Really?" "Yes. You would be the first human instructor in a Velthrian Technical Academy, the first to formally teach our methods to your people and your methods to ours." It was an incredible opportunity, the kind of job Maya had never imagined possible. "There is something else," Captain Thelvan said quietly. She looked at Kirsch. "My niece has bonded with you. Breaking that bond now would be cruel to her. She has already lost so much." Kirsch moved closer to Maya. The cub's small paw touched Maya's hand. "I am asking," the captain continued, "if you would consider becoming Kirsch's co-guardian, along with me. She would have two families, Velthrian and human. She would grow up understanding both cultures." Maya looked at Kirsch. The cub looked back with hope in her golden eyes. "I would be honored," Maya said. Her voice cracked with emotion. Kirsch made a happy chirping sound and launched herself into Maya's lap. The cub's purring was louder than Maya had ever heard it. 3 months passed quickly. Maya stood in front of a classroom at the new Interspecies Technical Academy. The room was designed for both humans and Velthrians. Seats at different heights, displays that could show information in multiple formats. 20 students sat in front of her, 10 humans, 10 Velthrians, all of them young engineers eager to learn. "Good morning," Maya said. "Welcome to Hybrid Systems Engineering. I'm Instructor Chen. Today we're going to talk about the most important lesson in interspecies cooperation. There is no single correct way to think about a problem." She activated the display. It showed her reactor interface, human readouts on one side, Velthrian patterns on the other. "This interface saved my life," Maya continued. "It also taught me that different is not wrong. It's just different. And when we combine different ways of thinking, we can solve problems that were impossible before." A human student raised his hand. "Instructor Chen, is it true you created this while fixing a live reactor?" "Yes. Though I don't recommend working under those conditions if you can avoid it." The students laughed. Even the Velthrians made amused sounds. Movement caught Maya's eye. Kirsch was entering the classroom. The cub was older now, bigger, but she still loved to climb onto Maya's shoulders. She wore a small uniform jacket that marked her as a junior student in the youth education program. Kirsch scrambled up and settled onto Maya's shoulders. A few students smiled. This was normal for Instructor Chen's classes. The cub was always there. "As I was saying," Maya continued, adjusting to Kirsch's weight without thinking about it, "different perspectives are valuable. My assistant here, for example, taught me about Velthrian rhythm and timing. That knowledge saved us during the critical repair phase." Kirsch purred proudly. Maya taught for 2 hours. She showed the students how to read Velthrian technical patterns. She explained human linear logic. She demonstrated how to combine both approaches. After class, Maya walked through the academy corridors. Kirsch rode on her shoulders, tail swishing happily. They passed other instructors, both human and Velthrian. Everyone greeted Maya. Some students stopped to ask questions. Maya's life had changed completely. She was no longer just an engineer. She was a teacher, a bridge builder, a guardian to a wonderful alien child who had taught her just as much as she had taught the cub. They reached Maya's office. It was a comfortable space with windows looking out at the stars. On her desk was a hologram of the cargo ship's reactor, frozen at the moment the repair was complete. Below it, a plaque read, "Chen's Bridge, in recognition of unprecedented interspecies engineering achievement." Kirsch climbed down and settled into her own small chair in the corner. She pulled out a data pad and started working on her homework. The cub was learning both human and Velthrian mathematics. She was good at both. Maya sat at her desk and opened her messages. The Velthrian Engineering Council wanted her opinion on a new reactor design. A human colony ship needed advice on installing hybrid interfaces. 3 universities wanted her to give lectures. She answered each message carefully. Then she leaned back and watched Kirsch work on math problems, occasionally asking Maya for help. "You know," Maya said, "I never expected my life to turn out like this." Kirsch looked up. "Is that bad?" "No, little one. It's perfect." There was a chime at the door. Captain Thelvan entered. She was fully recovered now and commanded a new vessel. But she visited often. "How was class?" the captain asked. "Good. The students are learning fast. In a few years, we'll have engineers who can naturally think in both human and Velthrian terms." "Thanks to you," Thelvan said. She looked at Kirsch. "And how is your homework?" "Almost done," Kirsch said proudly. The 3 of them talked for a while. Family conversation, plans for dinner, discussions about Kirsch's education, normal things, wonderful things. Later, Maya stood at her window looking out at the stars. Kirsch climbed back onto her shoulders, a comfortable weight that Maya barely noticed anymore. "Maya," Kirsch asked, "can I ask you something?" "Of course." "That day on the ship, when everything was scary, were you afraid?" Maya thought about it. "Yes, very afraid. But you did it anyway." "I had to. You needed me. Your aunt needed me." "I needed you," Kirsch said softly. "And you needed me too, right?" Maya smiled. "Yes, little one. I needed you too. You kept me balanced, kept me calm. We did it together." Kirsch hugged Maya's neck gently. "Together is better than alone." "Much better," Maya agreed. She looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, human and Velthrian ships were using her hybrid interfaces. Engineers were learning to think in new ways. Bridges were being built between species, between minds, between cultures. And it all started because a scared human engineer and a traumatized cub had held on to each other in the darkness and refused to give up. A student rushed past the window outside. A human and a Velthrian, working on a project together, arguing good-naturedly about the best approach. Both of them were right. Both of them would learn from each other. Maya had taught them that. "Come on," Maya said to Kirsch. "Let's go home. I promised your aunt we'd make dinner tonight." "Can we make both human and Velthrian food?" Kirsch asked hopefully. "Of course. Best of both worlds." They left the office together. A human engineer and a Velthrian cub, a teacher and a student, a guardian and a child, a family built from tragedy and courage and the simple act of holding on when everything seemed impossible. In the end, that was what humans did best. They adapted. They built bridges. They found solutions that no one else thought possible. And sometimes, they did it while a small alien cub hugged their neck to keep balance. Together, they could accomplish anything.